Hello, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And please forgive me for being late. I have not been feeling the greatest. And please forgive my voice. I sound like shit. But thank you so much, you guys, for being here. All right, Gemini. Law is not justice. Rules that are not fair. And then you have time for a nap. This one was a little bit rough for me. But I like the time for a nap coming out as like advice or effect, because I've always said that the oracle cards for me are like cause and effect or cause and advice, right? So law is not justice. This one kind of sucks for some of you. Yeah, you could be in a really unfair situation, but this one talks about condemnation without knowing the full story, being judged by people who don't know you or have a biased view. It's like they're only seeing a part of what you're capable of, but they're only judging you based on that. And I kind of feel like they're not aware of your versatility, right? So like if you're being judged on your work, that's not all you're capable of. But, if we're talking about rules that need to be broken, it could be that you're being judged because you didn't follow a certain set of rules, but maybe it didn't really work this time, right? And you tried to do something a little bit different, but you're being judged because of that. But time for a nap is saying that it's time for you to take a time out. No action is required. This is about allowing dreams to arise, right? So I feel like this is going to be important so that there isn't any creative blocks, especially if this is in terms of career. For others of you, if this is about an unfair situation within a relationship, this is, I need to take a break and I just need to really think about, what do I really want, right? And that seems to be like the reoccurring theme everywhere this time. The end of February, everybody needs to really, really look at what they really want to create, what is really going to bring happiness, right? But if you have been judged unfairly, there's a need to take a break. Now, all right, Gemini, here's your overall, the Four of Wands. Very nice. So for a lot of you, you're going to be focused on getting to a place of stability. Now, for some of you, this could be about accomplishing something here and being able to celebrate it, which is perfect. But the Four of Wands, I always, even in the reverse, it's just there's delays on getting to this kind of like stability. Now, in terms of relationships, right, it could be about moving in together, building your lives together. Depending on what's going on, it could be that, you need to move out. But I like it because it's saying that the focus is going to be on you getting to this place where you feel like you're accomplishing something. Now, in the past, the Three of Wands. Now, as far as career, these two look perfect. Perfect. The Three of Wands would be like putting yourself out there, right? Like wanting to expand yourself or wanting to connect with other people that may help in terms of career or business. But this is also about, waiting and kind of watching how something is going to develop. But we're already laying the groundwork for that Four of Wands. So you may be watching how things are developing in a really good way for you right now. But there was expansion in the past, right? Like really putting yourself out there and trying to network. Very nice. So in the present, the Ace of Swords. So truth and clarity, right? New ideas, but definitely a new beginning for you where honesty would be important in terms of a relationship for sure. But like a new connection with the Three of Wands that brings you ideas that, maybe things that you haven't considered before, but we'll see what's going on here. But truth and clarity. Very nice. Very, very nice, Gemini. It's beautiful. So, and just based off of this with the oracle cards, right? Like if you give yourself a break from like persistently trying to pursue one thing, with the Three of Wands, this could be something else that becomes available to you where it's like, aha, I get it now. And with the Nine of Pentacles being in future conditions, right? Financially secure and independent, right? And I always look at the Nine of Coins and I think of the person in this one and they're like classy, enjoying the finer things in life, right? Like being able to enjoy all of, the money that's coming in from the hard work, right? And it's creating the stability and we get to celebrate. But I like it. It looks good. Okay. Your best path to follow the Four of Coins. Now, because of the Nine of Pentacles being in future conditions, what I want to say to you is don't go overboard. Hang on to your monies, okay? Right? Like, not not so much being super stingy, but try to, especially with the Nine of Pentacles, try to go for the sales first rather than going directly for like the really super expensive stuff, right? Now, this could be saying, though, that there is something that you're going to have to let go of in order for things to change. Because you are talking about holding on too tightly to something. And then I go back to your oracle cards. Maybe you need to take a break from consistently trying to pursue something where you're being unfairly judged, because something else is coming up for you. But that's because you put yourself out there. You laid the groundwork out for this. And it creates a very different beginning for you, I think, than what you expected. But again, with money, be careful, right? And if you're looking at buying a home here, be careful about what you're purchasing. Oh, in your environment, the King of Cups. You know what I feel like here? If this is about career, this could be about somebody, could be male, female, could be water sign, right? Usually when court cards show up in the environment, it suggests that there's somebody else involved. This looks like somebody who's very supportive, caring, giving, right? But, is not like emotionally naive where, they understand what they're investing into, but there's like this strong emotion that's kind of going on. This person may be communicating to you with the Ace of Swords, and there's this truth and clarity that kind of comes through. But the thing is we're not really talking about like getting involved in this kind of like, head over heels type of a relationship, if that's what this is about. But this could be somebody who is wanting to try to clear the air with you. But with the Nine of Coins, right, and looking at the Four of Pentacles, for some of you, it could be saying that you're in a place where you just kind of like your life the way that it is. But maybe we need to open up a little bit with the Four of Pentacles. But, if this is somebody that is assisting you in your career, where you lead into, it looks pretty good, and I would want the King of Cups on my side for sure. But I look at this and think you've put yourself out there in some kind of a way that I don't even know that some of you even realize. And you have, the Four of Wands coming through. And then here's this person, right, that's seeing what you're putting out there. Your hopes and your fears, the Four of Cups. You don't want this to be another bullshit offer. And I get it. Like, I get it, right? Now, this could, though, also be that you're afraid that somebody is going to lose interest in you, right? And like they're not, and kind of going back to law is not justice, especially if you've been in those places before, it would make sense that there's, because, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female. I think that we all go through that, especially when we have, somebody who can be very emotionally available to us. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that with the Ace of Swords. I didn't know you were there. Let me, talk to you about some things. And then here's all of my crazy. Let me unload that on you, because we all are. You know it. All of us have our own brand of craziness. But when do they lose interest, right? Like, I know I get into those places too when it comes to starting relationships. Like, okay, when is this person going to get sick of me? And some of you may be fearing that. For others of you, it's, yeah, meh, like fearing it's not going to be all that great. But I would say that, with the Four of Cups here, you want to make sure that you're not settling for something just because it seems great in the present moment. Like, but then at the same time, are you seeing, that offer? Does it just seem like it's everything else? You know what I mean? Because technically that Ace of Cups is like being offered there. And then you have the King of Cups. Wow, Gemini, the hell is going on? But yeah, fearing that you're going to get another bullshit offer, or fearing that, somebody's going to lose interest in you. The hope would be that this is better than what you've experienced before, or that the offer is better than, what your expectation is right now. I almost feel like it's a separate issue. Okay, so let's talk about the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is going to be about having to deal with a situation where somebody thinks that they're better than you. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want, even if that means hurting other people, alienating other people. I certainly don't think it's Gemini in this situation, because if we're talking about remaining independent from whatever is going on with the Nine of Pentacles, right, it's like you don't want to get involved. Now, it could be that somebody is really being shitty about the fact that, and then the Fool, and you're all about it, but you're not going to let that hold you back. But I don't think that you're being foolish. I just think that maybe there's something attached to this person that's in your environment, because I feel like this is external. I don't think that it has to do with you, because it creates a new beginning. So, and you've put yourself out there in a way where I don't think that you understand. Now, if we're talking about relationship, this would be like you putting yourself out there on like dating apps or something, right? And there is a chance for this stability here with the Four of Wands, and you've got this person in your environment. Here is this communication and clarity, like, oh, like I didn't know. I had no idea. But the thing is, you know, I'm looking at this going, okay, if it's not about career, and it's not about holding on to your coin here, this would be, you need to be careful about, you know, giving up independence for sure. You know, there's a part of you that wants to remain independent, especially if there is like this kind of shit that's attached to it. And that would make sense with the Four of Cups. I get it now. I get it. God, Gemini, the hell is happening? Oh. The Five of Wands, competition. Okay. So maybe this is something that you didn't want to have to deal with this person, right? But with other people being involved and thinking that they're better than you, or that this should belong to them, you know, relationship or career, would make sense that you have a shitty asshole coming out here maybe wanting to cause some problems. Okay, now this isn't going to be for everybody. This is kind of specific, but you will understand what I'm talking about if you're having to like rise above the rest and like really try to put yourself out there in a way where it's like, look, I have more skills, more talents in terms of career, or I'm better looking, right? I have more available to me. Like, if this has to do with relationship. But with the Eight of Wands, this is quick, things happening quickly, right? Where the opportunity in the beginning kind of like comes to you because of someone here that is definitely seeing you or wanting to work with you. And there's the communication definitely coming through, but quickly things start to fall into place quickly. And with the Fool here, you know, this could go either way. It could be that you're not deterred by, you know, some bullshit here with the Five of Swords and you're just going for it. That, or, you know, somebody may be really upset in your own inner circle here that you're jumping headfirst into something that could create stability and financial independence for you, right? It just depends. But I see the King of Cups as a good person. But I also think that, you know, if this is somebody that you have an interest in, whether they're male, female, water, doesn't matter to me, they've got some shit going on that maybe is something that is like a little less than appealing to you. And I do think that there may be, you know, an attempt to like have a confrontation with you, right? But I feel like this is somebody else, another influence, especially with the Five of Wands, right? It's petty, it's stupid, petty bullshit. But this person is not being dishonest about this. They're being straight up and giving you the absolute truth, right? So there's like two different scenarios that I feel like is going on here. For some of you, this is definitely career, and somebody does not like the fact that an opportunity was given to you and not them, okay? And they may be, you know, trying to cause some problems here with the Five of Swords. If this is about a relationship, you know, I do think that there's going to be, you know, some stability here, but we could definitely be talking about you being involved with a person who is still living with an ex, right? Or somebody who needs to move out. But, you know, because it's the overall though, I look at this and think we're getting to a place of accomplishment here. You know, it could just be somebody here who is like temporarily like holding off your ability to kind of like get stability with a new person or a new job, right? But either way, the Four of Wands is still there. But I look back now at the Four of Coins and think the same thing applies with money. If you got a lot of money right now, Gemini, be careful about what you're doing with it, okay? But maybe you need to let go of certain expectations when it comes to, you know, what you're wanting out of a person or what you're wanting out of like an opportunity in terms of career. But you put yourself out there in a way where I don't think that you realize